welcome back to Red Rondo. I'm Caoimhan Ferris, a journalist with the team, and I am today doing a sell or keep for the Liverpool players for this summer transfer window in 2025. I have listed 7 players that have been linked with moves away, or maybe I think should be moving on from the club this summer, and whether I would keep them or whether I would sell them, and what I think is best for the club and what I think the club will actually do this summer. So we're going to start off with left back. Of course, Milos Kerkez is very highly linked, very heavily linked with a move to Liverpool, and the deal is almost done according to that. So Kostas Tsimikas is the first on my list, and I would sell Kostas Tsimikas. Now, it's not that I don't think he's good enough to be a Liverpool player, because we've seen it over the last number of years that he is good enough. But I think he should be a starter somewhere. I can see that with the age of the player turning 29 and having that kind of that ability to be a good Premier League player. You know, we've seen it with him with our club this over the last number of years. But is he enough to be a starter for Liverpool? I don't think so. And I think Arne Slot doesn't think so either. You know, we've talked about this all season. Robertson and Tsimikas have shared minutes, mainly maybe because of fitness issues with both players. But I think if you want to become first choice at Liverpool, you need to solidify that place. And I don't think Kostas has done that enough over the last number of years. Maybe his delivery is better than Andy Robertson's in terms of corners and things like that. But in terms of the all-round game, I still think Andy Robertson's got more to give to the squad than Kostas, but I'm not saying his character is second to none. He is one of the best characters in the Liverpool squad, but of course, with Liverpool considering that move for Milos Kerkez and very close to that move now, in my opinion, I'd rather have Andy Robertson with that experience, having been there and done it with all the trophies over the years, and certainly as a backup left-back, using that experience from the bench in the likes of the old style, the James Milner type of role, not in versatility, but that old head kind of looking around the pitch and helping other players and helping younger players and helping the squad develop and picking up in big moments. And I think Andy Robertson can certainly provide that. But again, nothing against Kostas, very, very good player, but I just don't think he can solidify a start at Liverpool. And that's why I think he should go and deserves to go and get that somewhere else, wherever that may be, because he is a quality player. And his delivery is probably one of the most threatening in the Liverpool squad, if not the most, in terms of corners anyway, with the Liverpool squad. The next player on my list is another defender. Started off with a couple of defenders actually, and I've gone for Joe Gomez, who has been linked with moves away. He was linked with moves away in January as well, throughout this season and maybe last season as well under Jurgen Klopp. I have said to sell, and I think Liverpool will sell Joe Gomez this summer. The reason being, I think it's injuries that have hindered Joe all the way throughout his career. You know, he has been so injury prone, and not to his own fault. It is quite disappointing because he's given 10 years of his career to this football club and never ever forced to get a move out, or never kind of thrown his dummy out in a way of kind of threatening his old position at Liverpool just to get a move somewhere else. I think he is capable of being a starting centre-back, no doubt about it. I think, you know, we've seen it in the season we won the league in 2019-20. It was probably one of his best campaigns at Liverpool because he was consistently fit and he was putting in top quality performances. But I just think, are we going to see him back to that again? You know, maybe the whole Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, if you remember with him, he came in absolutely unbelievable, then got bogged down with injuries and just never was able to get back there. I see something quite like that with Joe Gomez, where he's just not able to get back to the starting 11. But I think, no doubt, if he can get his fitness right at another club somewhere, he can certainly get a starting position at a top European team at centre-back. But not for Liverpool for me. 10 years, great servant, give him everything you want to give him, all the plaudits, all of that. Give him as many presents as you want, but I think Joe Gomez will be out the door this summer, and I think Liverpool are hinting at around 20 to 25 million, which is not bad for that type of player, Joe Gomez, who we got for I think £3 million when we bought him 10 years ago. To another defender, another centre back, and I have said that Jarell Quansah is on this list. Now, Jarell Quansah has been linked with a move away to other clubs. There's other clubs that have been interested in Jarell over the summer, and maybe Bayer Leverkusen could be a destination. But for me, I would keep Jarell Quansah, and this is the reason. He will be a very good option for the squad this for next season. Yes, he may not have kind of whenever Konate's not been in the squad or Konate's been injured, maybe Ibu or Jarell, sorry, for Ibu, hasn't really kind of stepped up and made that role himself, or kind of made it his own in that way. But I still think he's young enough to learn. He's still got a number of good years to learn the position, and there's no better player to learn from than the best centre back in the Premier League, Virgil van Dijk. I think if you learn from the best, it will make you a better defender, and I think a lot of players in the squad can learn from Virgil van Dijk, including Ibu Konate as well. So I think Jarell has a lot of room still to grow and improve, and I think I would keep him. Van Dijk and Konate seemingly going to be the main starters for next season. He would be incredible cover, and he would be great to bring in just to maybe if Van Dijk needs a rest. I think I could see him playing on that left-hand side of the centre-back partnership, definitely. I think he can oversee things a lot more than on the right-hand side. We need to be that more, a little bit more physical, and with Liverpool's right-back position, you need to cover a little bit more. But I think Jarell can be very good on that left side. I think he can really step up, and if he learns from Virgil van Dijk, I mean, there's no better teacher for a centre-back position than Virgil van Dijk in the game, no doubt about it. Moving on to another player who really hasn't solidified his start in the squad this summer, and that's Harvey Elliott. Who, unfortunately, I love Harvey. I absolutely adore him. I think he's an incredible player, and I think he could be one of the best midfielders in Europe. But I just think, is it going to work? I don't think so. I'm going to sell him, unfortunately. I think, with recruitment already begun in midfield, Florian Wirtz luckily coming in, that creative role and that area of midfield is already stocked with players at the moment. And with Harvey Elliott struggling to get into the starting 11 this season, when Arne Slot is looking for improvements, is he going to get any chance next season when another couple of, maybe another player or two comes in that position? I don't think so. And I just think for the squad, Harvey Elliott, again, he loves the club. He is a true Liverpool fan. He loves the club deep down to his core, and you can see that. You don't have to be a local lad to love Liverpool Football Club, and Harvey Elliott does with every fibre of his being. But for me, if the manager doesn't believe that he can do it, or maybe he needs a pre-season, but then again he had pre-season last year and didn't solidify that place, I just don't see where Arne Slot sees him fitting in to this squad with the recruitment already underway. Now, I'm not saying that his career at Liverpool is over. I think it's up to the manager. But for me, I would sell just because I think the position's already stocked with players. We talk about players that can play that creative role. Dominic Szoboszlai and Florian Wirtz will probably be the two main 10s next season. And then you're going to be swapping with the 8s. If the Szoboszlai can play the 8 as well. McAllister, Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, Endo, etc., etc. So there are a number of players in that midfield that can play those roles. And you just think, where's Harvey Elliott going to fit in? Could he have fitted out on the right wing? Well, it doesn't seem like the manager thinks so, because he's not played him there this season. Mo Salah's not going to move at all for anybody, and nor should he either. But I just don't think Harvey Elliott will get the game time, and I think he deserves the game time more than anything else. And at the end of the day, I just don't see the manager seeing a way to fit him in to the squad. Moving on. From midfield, that was my only midfield involvement. Next, we're going to forwards. There are 3 forwards on my list who have been linked with moves away, or who I would sell or keep or whatever. And my first is the Colombian, Luis Diaz, Lucho, and I would keep Lucho. He's been linked with moves to maybe Barcelona, etc., etc. Of course, the report this week that Barcelona aren't going to pay an extraordinary fee, or too high a fee for Luis Diaz, if it came to that. Now, that was one report, but we can't really be hanging our hat on those. But I think Luis Diaz has performed incredibly well this season. I mean, along with Cody Gakpo, 2 players that really couldn't kind of pip each other to that left wing position last season under Jurgen Klopp, but this season under Arne Slot, they have both thrived in such a great way for the club, and their goals and their contribution in attack and third has undoubtedly helped Liverpool to a Premier League title. So I think they both deserve massive credit, and that's why I'd keep both players, because I think why not give them another season? Luis Diaz has got 2 years on his contract, so if you are going to sell him or you're going to think about moving him on, then think about that next summer with a year on his contract. But he can play every position. He can play on the left. The left is his preferred role, but he has played at centre forward for Arne Slot this season. He can play on the right hand side of a front three, so he's got that versatility. He massively increased his output this season with the goals and the assists and involved in the final third, and he can be once again a valuable member of probably a top quality attacking line. And I don't see where you can find a major improvement on Luis Diaz in the market right now without paying an extraordinary fee. And if no one's going to pay an extraordinary fee for Luis Diaz, then why put yourself in a net negative with your transfers when you've already got a proven player in the Premier League and in this Liverpool squad? Why make that move and change it when whatever's working and whatever you've got now is working? Don't fix what's not broken in the sense. And I think Luis Diaz is a perfect example of a player that we need in the Liverpool squad, and I think a player that can be valuable next season. Moving on to our centre forwards. Our two centre forwards are the two that are being linked, not with moves away, but being linked with maybe being ushered out of the Liverpool squad and out of the ranks of Liverpool for next season, because we are looking for that position to kind of improve for next season. You can't really say that we've massively relied upon an out-and-out centre forward this season at Liverpool, and Darwin Núñez is the first one on that list, and I would sell Darwin. I think I love Darwin, I love the character, I love everything about him in that way, but clearly Arne Slot doesn't feel that he's good enough to start for Liverpool. Clearly doesn't think that he's good enough to be the main centre forward, be the main man up front for Liverpool, and he hasn't been able to solidify a place in the side. You know, he's had great moments, of course he has. I mean, that moment Brentford away where he scored those two late goals to win the game for Liverpool are the difference in a title winning season. But I just think when you have a centre forward, you need to be consistently providing. And look at Luis Diaz when he played that centre forward role. I'm not saying he's the long term option, but what I am saying is when he did come into that role, he offered and produced and gave numbers to the squad and helped everybody else. Whereas I just think Darwin hasn't really done that when he has started, albeit hasn't had as many starts as maybe many others, and maybe not given as many chances as many others. But I just think Arne Slot feels and knows within himself that that's not the type of player that he wants in his team, and I don't think Darwin will be in the squad come the start of the season. And to the other man at centre forward, Diogo Jota, I would keep Diogo. A lot of people saying they would sell him or they would move him on. And the one thing that could go in that favour of selling him is his injury record. Like Joe Gomez, has a lot of injuries, does Diogo, and a lot of niggly injuries as well for Diogo Jota. But if a new centre forward is recruited, you know, if Darwin does go, which I expect to be the case, you're going to need to replace him to start, which I expect Liverpool to do. But if you then get rid of Núñez and Jota, you're going to have to replace two positions in the starting 11, or in the squad, sorry. And if you're going to try and buy two top quality centre forwards, they're not going to want to compete for that place. You know, that's just not a good way of managing your squad. Whereas if you have a player who is maybe getting a bit older in Diogo Jota, but can still produce numbers when brought onto the pitch and still provide opportunities for other players, that is a valuable member of your squad. For example, Andy Robertson. Not anywhere near the same position or any of the near qualities, but what I mean is, when you bring a more experienced player off the bench, or a player that's done it before, or a player that can impact from the bench and make a difference in a game, you keep that player because they can be valuable to your squad in the long run. You never know when you might need a goal from the bench to win a game of football. Liverpool might have needed it a lot this season, but you never know, and I think Diogo Jota can be that. He can be a very impactful backup player. I think Diogo will be happy with that himself, and he'll be happy with knowing that that's the case. I do believe that. He will offer quality off the bench, no doubt about it, and I think he can certainly impact games. If Liverpool are struggling to get a winner or struggling to make a difference in a game in that attacking line come 70 minutes, I think you bring Diogo Jota on and he just offers something different. You know, that ball control in the centre, in the final third. You know, we talk about that winner in the derby against Everton. Diogo Jota, lovely little bit of skill, lovely bit of footwork, and finishes sweetly. That's what you want from your centre forward, and especially in such a tight game. And that's what I think Diogo Jota can provide, and that's why I would keep him. A valuable player who's given all for his for the team over the last number of years and produced some great goals and some great moments for Liverpool in his career. And I just don't think if we sell him, I don't think Liverpool will come out better of it if we sell both Nunez and Jota in the same summer. I think maybe sell Jota next summer, and then you can recruit a new a backup centre forward next summer after you've already recruited your first centre forward this summer. I think it makes too much complications if you sell both of them and try and get two new players in that position in the summer this summer. But we'll wait and see what Liverpool do. To recap then, I would sell Kostas Tsimikas, sell Joe Gomez, keep Jarell Quansah, sell Harvey Elliott, keep Luis Diaz, sell Darwin Nunez, and keep Diogo Jota. Those are the 7 players that are maybe the players that are most highly linked with moves away this summer, and I expect everything that I've said so far to come true, but you never know. Liverpool like to throw a little curveball in here and there. You never know what they could do. But let us know what you think of this list in the comments below. Let us know what you think Liverpool will do this summer, who you would like Liverpool to recruit, and do keep up to date with Red Rondo on all socials as well to get your latest transfer news and all the updates from the transfers that the Reds will be doing this summer. And as I said before, and I will say again, do get excited for next season, because next season's content is going to be unmatched in the Liverpool scene. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.